Orange meme. This is a movement away from mythology into what we now easily recognize as rational.
Reality exists as an objective absolute. That man's mind, reason, is his means of perceiving it. And that man needs a rational morality.
It's not like people weren't rational or logical prior to orange memes arising. It's more just that it wasn't their center of gravity. They didn't trust it more fully than their myth. This is where things come to a head, and you're in a conflict now between orange and amber over their truth claims. If you're going to scientifically prove that something in our holy canon is wrong, now we have a conflict. The religious institutions have all the power. So it takes a long time to get enough voices out there saying, hey, evolution, what about this? Hey, the world being actually fully round and not the center of the universe. And all these mythological beliefs that are still being brought into the mainstream, even with like flat earth and things like that, but even just contemporary Christianity, it doesn't die, it doesn't go away. It just gets proven wrong for people who are at the orange meme. And if you're not at the orange meme, it doesn't get proven wrong ever. It will only get there when you go to the orange rational meme. What is empowering at orange is again, it's a move away from the group and towards individualism. Individualism of the type, we understand for the first time that I am capable of comprehending reality. I don't need someone to mediate the message to me. I don't need the church to tell me what's what. Now, I do have the schools and the books, but the basic idea of orange is that I can judge between what's true and false, and I can learn how to do that properly so that everyone can be their own center of truth. That might sound kind of obvious to you growing up in this world that is based on orange values, but it's extremely new when it arises. It's a crazy, the
decision about what's best for everyone should be left to, well, everyone.
The idea that people could self-govern and be educated enough to understand political issues and vote, that would have seemed absurd at all points in history before it actually happening. But once it becomes possible, then you have people discussing it, and it's inevitable that it will occur. The history of the US, at very least, it moved from being a feudal monarchy to declaring independence. It was kind of how you do this. The Constitution is not the king says we can do stuff, it's we say these are the rules. So that's a new form of human grouping that was never really done before. It was just sort of a theory that it could work on a large scale. Boy, did it ever work. Adam Smith's invisible hand takes over the marketplace in capitalism. It turns out by not regulating commerce and not forcing and putting quotas and caps on everything and regulating and taxing and all this, people become enormously wealthy because all of those business people are better at performing the business themselves than the government would be at governing that business for them. And that just makes a crazy amount of intuitive sense. Nobody's better at the job that you do than you are. If you're doing it properly, if you're paying attention, why would anyone be better at what you do than you? There's a lot of criticism of orange that might be founded or unfounded. We can definitely blame all of the negative aspects of industrializing, industrial revolution, policing, modern warfare. Those all arise with orange. What Wilber describes as the most important achievement, I think, of orange would be the differentiation of 3 different value spheres, which would be really clear to us in the form of the separation of church and state, where the church can't declare laws and the law also can't declare religion. So they're just separate. It's not like one forbids the other. They're just separate matters. Differentiation of value spheres, art, morals, and science. That's what orange does for us. A lot of the times, just for shorthand, we think of orange as being the scientific stage, but it kind of isn't. Science is just something that comes with orange and becomes almost a worldview unto itself at orange. There is amber science, it's just overruled by the myth, and it hasn't been differentiated yet. And likewise, from orange onward, you will continue to have the capacity for scientific empirical research and study. It's just that it won't be your worldview or the way that you comprehend reality as an individual. But for most of us, if you're at orange, you this seems like such a no-brainer. Like if you're rational, you should get to the rational stage quickly. If you believe a bunch of stuff because somebody told you that stuff, which is what mythology is, then it would make sense to find out for yourself what the truth is. But that's the perspective of orange. That's what orange believes. So not surprising that we see things this way. At the same time, there's a tendency like to call rationality and science another form of mythology. This is also a category error. It is not another form of mythology. It is another form of worldview, which is anti-mythology. So that's not they are different categories. You cannot scientifically prove a mythological claim. Also, it is irrelevant to mythology whether the claim is scientifically proven or not. Simply being orange meme doesn't change anything but you've just changed what you believe, and so now the only way you can impact anything is through your behavior and the things that you say. So this is important as we go through the altitudes to recognize this, that the only thing that's actually changing is what you recognize. To make actual changes, that is you working horizontally within the altitude that you're at, changing your behavior to reflect your cognition and your values, changing the way that you interact with the world, with your own life story, and with other people. That's what this is all about. In the way that we're using it, it can be used in so many different ways. I don't have much more to say about orange because I think it's pretty self-evident